Hi. So, how's it going there? What's this week? How's your week going this week? Mine's a little busy.
Clearly been busy. You seem to have lost your bookcases and background there. So
Yeah,
I don't
what do
know
you
if
think?
you're in a prison or did your wife kick you out? I don't know what's going on.
This is my one phone call. This is how dedicated I am to the podcast. Like, yeah. So, make it worthwhile this week.
Wow. All right. No pressure. No pressure.
No, I rearranged my office. I started building. I got into this hobby of building a computer, which, by the way, like 4 weeks ago, I had no idea what any components of a computer was. So I just totally just taught myself and decided that it was a good idea to buy all the components and see if I can't put it all together after all the stuff that I learned. And then I thought, well, since I don't know what I'm doing and this is my first time, maybe I should videotape myself doing it. So I started placing everything on the desk and I started to really not like the lighting and the background. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to change this. So totally tore up my whole office just so I can get the right background. And then, yeah. And now it's like everything's torn apart. And I wasn't necessarily ready for today's podcast. So my desk is here. So this is where I'm available.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
So
it. That's an
hopefully it
interesting week.
doesn't
That
throw
sounds
anybody
awesome.
off. All right. So how's your week? What's going on?
Better than your week because just the idea of building a computer to me sounds awful. And then
Really?
I remodel my office in order to build that computer. That all sounds like punishment to me. So I'm having a great week by comparison.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually pretty easy week so far. Just trying to finish up a couple of projects, trying to close some sales on some other projects. A little bit of everything so far, but it's hump days. You know, I'm happy.
Nice.
No
Nice.
major
Good.
crises. No major crises. Yeah,
Crises. Good.
I think that's the pro.
None here either. We're doing pretty good. Plum Financial Bookkeeping Services. We're doing good there. We got another design agreement in the works on the Plum Perfect Builders
Nice.
remodeling side. So we got that, and we're well in the purchasing everything and getting ready for a start date on the current project. So yeah, we're up and running.
Good.
This week
Glad
was
to
a
hear.
lot of getting all the purchases and getting everything we can think of ahead of time.
Okay. Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, here we go again at the Renovation Situation Podcast, where we pull back the layers of this complex remodeling industry. So grab your beverage of choice. I have cider today. What do you got there, Todd?
I'm working with Makers 46 on the rocks.
All right. Well, really didn't make me feel like much of a man today. All right, fine. I'll just
I said it was
forget that I said cider.
Yeah.
Forget I said anything about cider. Now you're throwing us around. Awesome. Yeah.
Well,
to have some more of that.
That's what happens when I'm drinking Makers.
Uh-huh.
As I'm drinking this Makers, I think we're going to get into why our clients are potentially doing this. And this is probably a pretty common upfront sales question, I would think, from most companies out there. But, whatever's on your checklist or however you approach that situation, me, I'm always very casual about that. So for me, it's kind of that first introductory meet and greet, and it always just comes up in the first 10 minutes. Why am I here? And I don't say it in that tone. That sounds terrible. But I just get a little softer than that. But realistically, are we doing this for comfort? Or is your family growing and you have different needs than you had previously? Is it just wants where you want to finish that basement that has always been sitting there unfinished? Or you want that wet bar in your basement? Or you want that addition on the back of your house for that 3-season room? Is this your forever home? Is this you're here for 3 years and you just want a good return on investment on what you're doing while you're here? Whole list of questions to ask, whole long conversation to be had. See if you're a good fit for that client, if they're a good fit for your company, right? That's kind of that was the premise of today's conversation.
All right, I like it. I ask that same question various ways as well. I do it pretty early. We do that in a phone call pretty early. Like the first phone call is really just introducing them and us and making sure everyone's a decent human being, really. And then that other like virtual meeting is where I really get into why are you doing this remodel? And it's you'll be surprised because I never get the answer I'm looking for right off the bat. Right? Because what I'm looking for is I hate the word pain, but what I'm looking for is like what's causing stress in your life that brought you to this decision that you are ready to create this big chaotic remodeling situation in your house, right? Because remodeling for most people is frustrating and invasive. And so there has to be something going on, some kind of stress in your life that brought you to this realization that, you know what, that chaos is worth, this stress and fixing this stress and this. And so I want to know what that is. What's that stressor? And I feel as though sometimes homeowners don't even know how to articulate that sometimes, or they don't even realize what the real underlying factor is. Sure, everybody wants
If there is one.
Yeah.
I mean,
most of the time I would say that there is.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you 90% of the time I think there is, but quick devil's
I would say
advocate
90% of the time we don't know, or 90% of the contractors aren't asking. So they don't really know. They're just a lot of times us contractors are like, they want to move forward. Great. Sign here. I don't really care why you're doing the remodel. I'm going to get my money and I'm just going to put your bathroom together, which is not how we remodel.
Nope.
That's
your production style remodelers.
That's your production style. That's not custom remodel. That is not what we're after. Because I realize that you don't buy kitchens and bathrooms every day. So you might not know all of the things or all of the ways that we can help you. So if you express the real truth, like what is the real reason that you're doing? Like I want 3 reasons down, right? This is the superficial reason. This is the get off my back reason. This is like, all right. This is really, really,
the get off my back reason. Nice.
Yeah. That's what we're after, because then that might be a different solution than the superficial reason that you're giving.
Yeah.
Do you find that to be true?
I agree. I mean, you want to, like you said, and this, like we kind of just briefly touched on, is this, there's your production style remodelers that are your bigger companies that, at least typically your bigger companies, that they just want you to sign on the dotted line. It's a sale. They're looking at their bottom dollar and that's it. Keep moving it along, pick something out of our showroom and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas, I like to think, guys like us, that smaller company there's a little more hand holding. It's a little more personal. It's a little more involved, so I want to know why you're doing this, because I want to remodel your home to fit those needs appropriately. If you're an expanding, a growing family, or you were a family of maybe just husband and wife, and now you have a kid on the way, or maybe you already have 2 kids and this 3rd kid's on the way, whatever it may be. If you need that extra space, that extra living space, if you have just a really outdated home and you feel like it's just grossly inefficient, I want to know these things. Is this room super cold and this room is super warm? I want to go through all of that stuff and say, okay, how are we going to remodel this to the best of our abilities to fit the needs of you and your home, and to make your home just efficient and make that so you're getting a good return on your investment. You're getting a good quality of, while you're in that home, living up to its potential, so there's just a lot that goes into that to do that properly, you know?
Hmm. So we, um, some of I don't know if you ever heard of the Sandler sales training.
No, can't say I have.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, it's
Adam
arguably
Sandler?
the no, it's arguably the largest sales uh training in the I think in the world. I think Sandler's huge. And I did quite a bit of Sandler sales training, and they have the reason why I bring it up is because they have an acronym for exactly what we're kind of talking about right now. It's called FUDWACA. It's FUDWACA, FUDWACA. I think it what it yeah.
Sounds like
Um
a Star Wars character.
right. Well, the reason why I bring it up is because it's supposed to kind of give you all of the reasons why people have
Want to remodel or want to
yeah.
buy something? Is this a universal sales or is this remodeling specific?
No, it's universal. It's universal.
Okay.
It's universal. And maybe Fudwalk is not appropriate. It's more of like a emotional response to why they're doing the remodel, right? They're frustrated or upset, worried, angry,
And they
concerned,
think their purchase
anxious.
is going to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like
And here's the thing,
the
like,
midlife crisis going out and buying a Corvette.
yeah, yeah, maybe, maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't know what I'll have to look up the acronym, or maybe you have
Well, and
we
here's the
can.
thing. Sandler's got all kinds of different acronyms for all kinds of things. And I'm trying to remember and if that was the appropriate acronym or not. But the point being is if you guys are interested in learning this stuff, go to Sandler and check some of it out. They have a ton of free information to learn a lot about what we're talking about right now is very helpful. That's why I brought it up. Whether or not FUD and that acronym is the appropriate one, um, you know, go check it out. But I think it's
Check it out.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it's all about like selling. It's general selling, right? But a lot of it has to do with selling to remodeling homeowners, for sure.
So, what would you think? What's the target that you're looking for then? If you get a sales call and you're kind of weeding people out, potential clients, you're looking at whether or not this is a viable project, a good fit for you. Like, what are you looking for?
Like, what's the responses I'm looking for?
Well, that you
Or
would want that client to be looking for. So, like, the reason I say that, like, for me,
okay,
you'll get the occasional phone call of someone who's like a home flipper and just say, "Oh, I just want to remodel this as quickly as I can for the lowest costs." Like, no, thank you. Call somebody
yeah,
else. I don't do that.
right,
I
right,
typically, even I've had, potential clients who say they don't plan on being there for more than 2 years. And I say, like, then don't even remodel it. It's going to take us 6 months to get through this. And, before we even start remodeling your house. And then you're going to spend all this time, money, everything else. And you're moving in a year. Like, don't even do it, you know, unless you are, secretly a flipper and you're not admitting it, which is either way, again, not interested. Right. So for me, that ideal client is the one who's that, at least they think it's their forever home. It may not be. No one has that much, no one has a crystal ball, but someone who
right,
thinks that's their forever home. They're putting down roots. They have a family that they're putting through schools or whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be that they're putting kids through school. It could be empty nesters too, but they're staying there. I mean, I have a client right now in Barrington. She said, "I'm not moving until I'm out of here horizontal." It's like, perfect. Good.
perfect.
You know?
Yep,
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Because to me, that means you're going to make this home the way you want it. It's your home. So that's what we like to do, right? We want to tailor that to your needs and wants,
yeah,
not just whatever's trendy on House or Pinterest or, HGTV right now. And yeah, let's throw this in here as quick and inexpensive as we can. And then you didn't even make any decisions. You're not happy. You're not happy with it. You just did what you thought you were supposed to do, because you're more concerned with the return on investment than you are making your home your own home. If that
Right.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Granted,
Another
that's a
one that,
luxury. You don't get to work for those people all the time. It's a
yeah.
luxury.
Another one that I hate hearing is they just want an update. They just want
Yeah.
an update.
Yeah.
And that's not why you're doing the remodel. But that's the reason I get a lot. Well, I just want to update it. Yeah, I understand that it's old and it's, it's 30 years old or 40 years old or whatever, and you want to update it because you just want something new. But I think there's always an underlying reason. There's always something else that, like, what is it that you're doing in there? Like, let's say it's a bathroom, and let's just say that you come to us and you're like, I want to do this master remodel. Great. Why do you want to do this remodel? Right. And I just want to update it. It's old. Great. But what is it not providing you currently? Right. What are you trying to do in this bathroom that this this particular bathroom can't provide you, but an updated one will?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
like,
Do you want two sinks instead of one? Do you want heated floors? Do you want shower jets? Do you want a rain shower? Do you want like steam shower? What is
All of those little things are superficial, though. I'm trying to get behind. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is the level that I'm trying to get down to. Okay, so this particular family wants to remodel their master bathroom because in their home they have 3 bathrooms. The bathroom on the main floor is only a half a bath, so they only have 2.5 really, and so they have 3 girls and 1 boy. So the boy's a teenager, and I'm sorry, they don't have 3 girls, it's 2 girls. And they have 2 girls. Trying to keep track. Anyways, these 2 girls are going to be growing up into teenagers soon. All right? And so we have 2 girls and a boy sharing 1 bathroom. All going to be teenagers. Not going to work. Right. Well, there's absolutely no way that we can't put another bathroom in anywhere. That's not an option. So after getting through all of I just want to update, I just want a new bathroom, blah, 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 turns out what we're really trying to accomplish here is we're thinking 5 years down the road, I'm going to have 2 teenage girls and we need another makeup station for mom and the 2 girls, and not occupying an entire both bathrooms in the house. So what we're trying to do now I want to design for a complete makeup station and desk in this master bathroom, which is totally big enough, and we could totally do it. So it's going to be great. But I would have never, if you just told me I wanted an updated bathroom, I would have never put in a giant makeup station in the bathroom for you unless you specifically asked, and you didn't. You just said you wanted an updated bathroom. So I needed to get down to wait a minute. We have girls, we have a high school, teenage girls, and they're taking makeup very seriously, and we're thinking ahead, which is awesome that they're thinking ahead, the family is, and getting ready for it. And now's the time. And I think it's great. So that was one real point that we really got down to. And I was like, okay. Now I know a reason. And now I can think about design things that could help in that situation.
You can solve those. Now you can solve those potential problems.
Yeah. I know what I'm solving for, right? Like, okay. Yeah.
Very good point.
Everything else was just a wish or a want. Nothing was a need except for that. Like, okay, we need a makeup station. Okay, that's the need, right? Everything above and beyond that is cookies.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's good. Yeah.
That's what we're after.
Good example. Very good example. Find all the question words, right? Find the who, why, when, where, how, everything. Like you said, spend the time to get down to it. You can come up with all those solutions in advance.
Yeah. And it's really tough. It is not easy sometimes trying to peel back those layers on a homeowner who might be emotional or not, or defensive, or just not. They might not even know until you start asking and probing. So it's your responsibility to get down to the real reason. The three real. I don't want the second reel or the first reel, third reel.
And one of the realities might be, like you said, if they don't even know why, it might be just the keeping up with the Joneses. It might be the fact like they were in their friend's house, they were in their neighbor's house who just did this beautiful remodel, and then they come home and they see their house and they say, "Oh my God, this is." They're almost embarrassed by it.
Well, all right. So keeping up with the Joneses, one reel. Two reel is that they're embarrassed. But what's the third reel? There's another layer there, I promise. And we got to
Yeah,
find it,
yeah,
right?
sure. What is it?
Like what specifically is embarrassing? You know what I mean? Give me an example of your day to day and what this one, I remember we were talking to this one client and they wanted a kitchen remodel. And it came down to the point where eventually we got to the nitty gritty of it all. And she felt so guilty that she felt like she could not provide meals for her kids, like lunch meals to go to school in and everything, because her kitchen wasn't adequate enough for her to be able to provide that. Like she couldn't cook in it. It wasn't functional enough, right?
Functionality is a
So,
legitimate reason.
right. But that's second reel. So first reel is I want it updated, right? And then they go, well, it's not functional. It just doesn't work for me. Yeah, but what's not working for you? Well, I I can't I feel like I can't cook in here. Okay. Why do you feel like you can't cook? Give me an example of what you're trying to accomplish. What exactly are you trying to accomplish? And it came down to really if she wanted to be able to provide lunches for her kids for lunch. That's what she wanted to do. That's why she was doing this remodel. Was it all boiled down to I really want to be able to provide a healthy, good lunch for my kids. And I want to be able to cook that and be able to have a kitchen to do that in an efficient manner. And that's what it came down to, right? Okay, great. Let's make sure that she can provide an efficient lunch. And now we got to be very conscious of our triangle and make sure that everything's working and for her too, right? So we ask examples. What would you give me the perfect layout? Like give me the perfect idea of how and what you would grab and what you're doing. Like play that all out so I can visualize maybe where things should be put. Where should the stove and the oven and the da 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 da, right? Yeah. So I challenge you to ask questions and do it in a manner that is just curious. I'm just curious. Tell me
Challenging
a little
sense.
bit more about that. Do you have an example?
Challenging. And that's exactly that first for me, the way I operate is just that first meet and greet. I'm not trying to close the deal the first time I come to your house. I just want to know what you're looking for, see if I'm a fit for you, see if you're a fit for me. But it's those kinds of questions. Why are you doing this? If you tell me you're out of here in 2 years, there's a 90% chance I'm not interested in the project. But if you're telling me, like you said, if you want to tell me that it's just not functional and you want something that fits your needs better and fits your family better, or you just want a more comfortable or even a more efficient and more healthy, even a healthier home. I mean, this day and age, some of these, some outdated homes just lack of insulation and I mean, not that you're going to go beating up walls all the time, but lead paint and whatnot. Just the inefficient HVAC systems. If you really want to go through all that, some people just have uncomfortable homes, terrible water pressure, whatever it might be. So sometimes there's just that checklist of those little everyday problems that you can solve that just makes them happier in their home on a day-to-day basis.
As I was just asking you those couple questions, it reminded me of the pain funnel from Sandler. And I'm going to pull it up here on the screen. And you guys should go look up Sandler and look up the pain funnel. And these questions in this pain funnel will help you. Again, I hate the word pain. So I'm not in love with that part. But the point of this is it's going to help you ask these questions to find exactly what we're talking about here. Okay. So we're talking about trying to find that third reason. So here's some questions that could help you get down to that third level of pain. Again, I'm really hate myself when I use that word.
You really
But
have a problem with this word.
I do. It really pains me when I was in the classes listening to them constantly use this word. But here's an example of how to help. Like, make this your own. Maybe some of these questions, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Can you give me an example? How long have you had this problem? What have you done to try to solve your problem? And did it work? And how has this impacted you and your family? And who else is aware of this problem? Is it affected by? And what and wants and solutions to it? And how is this affecting you personally? Like, this will all help you get down to that third level. And you do this for every topic, right? So if it's so if you initially have that conversation like, well, why are you doing this remodel? I just want it updated. Okay. So when you're taking notes, you write update. Okay. Want to update. Okay. Is there anything else? Well, yeah, I'm a little frustrated and I feel like, it's not laid out right. Okay. Layout. So layout is another one, right? And you work through that. So now you're getting those surfaces, right? Okay, so update is a surface problem and the layout is another surface problem. You get a couple of those, like, 3 to 5 of those. And then you go back and go, okay, you had mentioned that the layout is a little bit of a problem for you. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
And then
do a little digging.
yeah. And so they tell you a little bit more about the layout, and then okay, can you give me an example of how that layout's an issue? And how long has that been a problem? You see how you can just, and then you get down to the real nitty gritty of exactly what the problem with the layout is. And the problem is that she can't feed her kids lunch because the layout is a problem. Okay, that's a real problem for her. Like, this stupid layout of her kitchen is making her feel guilty and in not feeding her kids appropriately. That's a real problem. And we can help that. Okay. And then go back and do it all over again with the other surface ones that you just wrote down. Right. Okay. Update. What's exactly, you said updating was something that was a reason for you remodeling. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And then they'll explain something that's wrong with their bathroom or kitchen that they want to update. And then you can say, okay, can you give me an example of that? Or how long has that been a problem? You can skip some of these and intertwine them, make them your own or whatever. But here's a good example of how you can narrow that down, buddy.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I like it.
Good.
I like it.
Good. Well, I hope that, is there anything else that you wanted to touch base on? Did we?
No, I think that checks down my list, Yeah. And so for the most part, it's just that upfront, it's having that discussion, right? And like really spending the time up front to figure out the needs versus the wants. And that's for both of you, for you and for them. Find the needs, find the wants, find the what ifs, find all those things out. And, ultimately it's, if you get the answers you're looking for, it's going to create a much better result for both you and your client.
Yeah. Don't forget out there that I'm a huge component of saying no. So if it's just not the right client for you, I say this all the time that my best client I ever got was the one I said no to. So, you're getting red flags, listen to them. So that's what this helps find those. If they truly don't have a third level problem, then this is not a good project.
That's fair.
unless you're into production and you don't care and you just want numbers and you're just looking for,
Yeah,
you know,
you're just trying to do as
75
much volume
projects
as
a
you
year,
can.
well then, yeah, then have at it. Don't listen to our podcast
And if you're,
because
if
that's
it's,
not what we're about.
I'm just gonna say, if you're just trying to do as much volume as you can, you're not gonna enjoy talking to
You're
us
not
anyways.
listening to us. Yeah. You don't got time
No.
to listen to us. You got 75 projects you're working on. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're busy. You're busy hiring and firing project managers.
Oh my God. Yeah. You got 3 project managers and you're trying to give them, you know, you're trying to make them work with, you know, 30,
Yeah.
40
What do you mean
projects.
you can't balance 9 projects at a time
9.
flawlessly? Yeah.
I went and worked for a company for a short period of time and they had 14 active projects going on and 1 project manager.
With how many
It
project
was
managers?
1.
1?
Yeah. And they had 14 active projects
Ouch.
going.
Ouch. That's awful. I feel for that guy.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's a recipe for a heart attack right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it didn't work. It all fell apart.
Shocker.
Anyways, I hope that was helpful and intriguing and all the things. Till next time.
Till next time.
Cheers.